Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'll be showing you how to install a throttle body in your car or truck. Now this is my wife's 1995 Ford Bronco, and unfortunately you can no longer purchase the throttle body from the manufacturer. So I ended up purchasing a BBK performance throttle body, and this kit does come with the gaskets and mounting hardware required to install this throttle body. Now it's also a good idea to replace the coolant lines connected to the throttle body. Now I have heard that the performance throttle body may require a port match to the intake plenum to avoid a whistling sound coming from the engine bay. And in that case, this will require a rotary tool such as a Dremel. So let's get started on this project now. Now first things first, let's remove the throttle cover. Pop off your throttle cable. Loosen and disconnect the intake ducting. Carefully disconnect the electrical connectors to the throttle body. Now remove all vacuum lines and set them off to the side. Next, remove the coolant bypass hoses. Now the lower hose will probably leak, so be ready to plug it up. Unbolt the EGR heat shield and set it off to the side. And now it's time to unbolt and remove the old throttle body. Now that we have the old throttle body out, it's time to transfer over some of these components to the new throttle body, such as the IAC valve and the TPS sensor. So let's get started on that now. I'll start off by removing the TPS sensor. And next the IAC valve. And now we're ready to install the IAC valve onto the new throttle body. So be sure to install the gasket and bolt it down. Now for the TPS sensor, you will need to remove the spacer if yours came with one. And use the spacer that comes with the BBK throttle body. Now be sure to clock the TPS sensor correctly. You want to install it and just twist it back just a little bit. Now keep the TPS sensor a little loose as it will require adjustment. Now for my application, I will not be needing these two vacuum ports. So for your application, use the provided plugs and plug up any vacuum ports you will not be using. Now loosely attach the throttle body and just snug down the bolts a little so we can view the port matching. Now as you can tell in my application, there is a bit of material that needs to come down to effectively port match the throttle body to the intake plenum. Now if your application is fine or you're satisfied with these results, go ahead and continue on with the install. But for me, I will be taking a burr and port matching the plenum to the new throttle body for more efficient airflow. Now if you are going to port match the plenum to the throttle body, I do recommend you remove the intake plenum to avoid getting any shavings inside of the engine. Now for the sake of not making a really long video, I will be showing you the technique that I use to port this intake without removing it. And if you do choose to use this method, be extra careful to avoid any shavings going inside of the intake. I'll be using microfiber cloths and I'll lay one down underneath the plenum. Next, I'll grab another new microfiber cloth and stuff it down the lower intake port. And make sure to get it all the way in. I'll do the same to the upper port. Now I'll take a permanent marker and mark about 1/16 of an inch all the way around the ports. As an added layer of precaution, I'll use some painter's tape to protect the mating surface of the plenum. Now I do want to mention that I am not looking to remove too much material. I just want to knock down these edges to a 45-degree angle so these ports line up with the new throttle body and allow more efficient airflow. Now when you are using your rotary tool, Just hold the tool very firmly with 2 hands and work down these edges a little bit at a time. And make sure to keep the tool moving to avoid any deep scarring. Once I'm all done, I'll take my mini vacuum with the brush attachment and suck up all of the aluminum shavings. Now before I remove the rags from the ports, I'll take another microfiber rag and douse it with some degreaser, and then I'll clean up the ports. And now carefully and slowly remove the rags. Now I have it all cleaned up and she's looking pretty good. Now before we stick on that new throttle body, let's replace this lower coolant bypass hose. Now be sure to get the new hose ready and attach it as soon as you remove the old hose to minimize coolant leakage. Now the next step is to adjust the TPS sensor, so put the throttle body off to the side and connect the TPS sensor to the harness. Now turn on the ignition and make sure do not start the truck. Next, back probe the green wire coming from the TPS sensor. Now the reading you want is between 0.8 and 1 volts. This seems to be okay, but you can adjust it optimally to be about 0.97. And to adjust it, simply turn the TPS sensor. And once you have it where you want it, tighten down the screws. Now once the TPS is adjusted, let's go ahead and connect the lower bypass hose. And now you can line up and install your throttle body. Make sure to install all the bolts loosely before you torque them down. Now that the throttle body is mounted, it's time for the moment of truth. Let's check it out. Now I think it looks pretty good and I'm satisfied with these results, so let's go ahead and continue on with the install. And now reconnect your IAC valve. Reinstall the EGR heat shield. And reconnect the purge solenoid vacuum. Install and tighten down the upper coolant bypass hose. Snap on the throttle cable. And now you can reinstall your intake ducting. It'll be a tight fit at the throttle body, but they'll go right on. Now before we install the throttle body cover, we have to start the truck and let it reach normal operating temperature, as we may need to adjust the idle using the set screw here. Now once the truck is up to operating temperature, go ahead and shut down the truck and disconnect the IAC valve. Now restart the truck and turn this set screw to the desired RPM. Anywhere between 600 to 700 RPM should be fine. I prefer 700 RPM. And make sure to apply blue Loctite to the set screw. After you've set your idle, shut down the truck and reconnect your IAC valve. And now you can reinstall your throttle body cover. Alright guys, so we got that BBK throttle body installed and we don't have any whistling sounds at all. So if this video helped you guys, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.